love to start there because
could go horribly wrong too.
it could go well. I have horrible taste in music. Okay, so
Well, so I really the 2 minutes that I did prepare and think about this, I wanted to preface to anyone who listens to this that I think some songs that will be brought up and might even be deemed to be quintessential 90s alternative rock songs that might be horrendous songs that the majority of people would not like. I might not like them, but that wouldn't mean
oh,
that they
good, that's
aren't
fair.
but that wouldn't mean that they aren't just part of the culture.
Yes, absolutely.
Um, I think there's probably also a difference between the song I enjoyed when I was 14 and a song now, and then there might be some opposites where I thought the song was super lame, and now I'm like, you know what, it was okay.
I also think I have many friends who are more well suited to have this debate than the two of us
Oh, for
that are
sure.
like work in the music industry or like have had successful bands, and the two of us are just gonna be like, no, but we're the ones that need to be on the internet talking
Yeah,
about
no,
it.
they should absolutely skewer us later.
Yeah,
And
but they're not here to stop us, so like it's our show.
I think like a important maybe one parameter to set here is I think we're very much talking uh you know uh, overplayed top 40
Yeah, exactly.
alternative
Good point.
style songs, like sorry out there to anyone, but we're not necessarily talking like the college rock station.
Butt rock, not so much butt rock.
Yeah,
But
we're I mean, yeah. I mean, there's certain bands that I'm not going to allow to make our final list, but
I
um,
don't.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're going pretty mainstream here.
yeah. No, wait. I'm gonna have to debate you on even that though, potentially, because there's some bands that I've really found a new liking to that I'm willing to admit to, potentially mostly because of hilarious TikTok memes, but
True.
that I'm like, oh, I actually like this song, and I think I don't regret it.
Yeah, I think we
That's what we're
gotta.
looking for here, right?
I think we're looking for that.
Yeah. Um, uh, I'm gonna mention this thing that I don't think I've ever talked to you about. There's this app that I was introduced to at work called Music League.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you get together with a group of friends and you make a playlist together by each secretly submitting one song based on the topic. And so it might be like we are talking about late 90s alternative rock, and then you all then vote on those anonymous submissions and decide who wins based on the vote. And I've been in a music league with like Matt and Fabian and them for about a year now, I guess maybe a little less or half year. And I think I've come in last place in almost every single thing we've done. And almost every time I come in last place. And also, it's completely transparent which song is going to be mine in the list, as I am far more pop emo than everyone else, and my taste is very strangely specific. So, how do you want to? Do you have any ideas of how you want to go about this? Oh, wait, that was part one of my preface to this. I had another preface, which was a
Yes.
joke that I told to some friends, and they didn't get it or like it at all. So here's
Okay.
how that joke went: is no, I don't. It's pretty awful. I guess the joke was I was like, do you think that we would have less of a meth epidemic in America if that one song hadn't had the doot doot doots in it the whole way through? And what I was referring to is "Semi Charmed Life," and the fact that that song is actually about doing crystal meth with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
And so many people just are like toot toot toot, 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 toot. And I'm like, if that song didn't have those, then maybe people wouldn't. Then maybe the pharmaceutical industry wouldn't have ruined our country.
Yeah. That's
So
a
I thought we were going to talk about politics stuff,
yeah.
Baker.
Well, I don't know. I have to get the edit button ready.
I didn't make any moves during that whole rant, so I could edit that out. But I mean, we'll
I think
talk about it in
I don't
post.
know. I think that's a interesting take
It's
that may
not
have to be left in.
it's not a funny joke though. I'll figure out how to land that joke. It has something to do with the doot.
Hmm. I don't know if it
Any,
needs to be a joke. It may just be a hypothesis.
it's a hypothesis in the framing of a joke. I don't
Yes.
actually believe that.
Okay. For the record.
For the record, for everyone's gratification, I don't actually believe that.
I,
Okay.
now that you bring it up, I mean, if someone was to create you like a list of, you know, songs that are mainstream mid to late '90s alternative rock, I feel like "Semi Charmed Life" would have to be
It has to be
a
on the
serious
list.
contender. Yeah.
Despite the incredibly poppy doots. It's
It's great.
it
Yeah.
is it is undeniable song. It generates unbelievably loud crowds at any sporting event. Um, Immediately recognizable.
Mhm.
Um, but also is like one of the most popular like drug songs of all time.
Could be a topic for another episode.
Yeah, one of the top most drug like highest streamed drug songs.
Drug,
Although,
drug, drug anthems,
yeah, drug anthems.
or maybe ones that aren't overtly drug anthems.
The song's not positive towards being a drug addict, I guess. Now, if you take the time to think about it, because he's saying, "I don't want this life,"
True.
but it does make it kind of glamorous.
Yeah. I wonder how
So
many '90s kids were really analyzing those lyrics.
no, that's exactly my point. Is most people have no idea that that song is about doing crystal meth with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Um, so the band I was referencing that I think is potentially uh, on your list of don't includes is Creed.
Yeah, that's a tough one. In the sense that like I'm predicting we have some songs that are I don't know, aren't great or maybe haven't like stood the test of time. Um and there might be just a few bands that are like right like yeah, they're a bridge too far. Like I don't know.
I
We
don't think
just
I can
can't
handle it.
recognize like the Creeds and the Nickelbacks of the world.
What about Lincoln Park?
Ugh,
I always hated that
yeah.
garbage.
Like yeah, yeah. No, I don't think they're gonna make it for me.
Butt rock is what I call that stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But Nickelback's meme worthy, and they're probably the
That is very true. I don't know. Maybe they make it. I also feel like some of their stuff might just be a little bit too late in the time window for
oh okay
some of the very deep structured parameters that I'm setting here.
okay. You can look at
Um,
those things. You can pull up
I I
Spotify and check.
I have a couple tabs pulled open
Oh nice.
to bring a little tiny bit of structure to this meandering wild conversation.
Um,
Um,
but Creed's got
not,
this like meme going where
Creed's
like,
got a meme.
and they don't. I don't think they
Yeah.
are like
Oh,
privy to it.
right.
But it'll be like a picture of a like Oktoberfest beer, and then it'll be Scott Stapp being like, "Hello, my friend, we'll meet again. It's been a minute. Where should we begin?" And I'm like, "Yes, that's perfect. I
It's good stuff.
want exactly that."
All
Oh my
right. I
god, I'm
mean,
about to die.
oh,
Oh my god, we're in real trouble. No, maybe not. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna heal the wounds. And then we're just gonna bash these dudes. I believe in me. Oh, I definitely killed something. Oh, we're still alive. Okay, we're good. This thing is a pain in the ass, but I don't think I'm gonna lose to it. Yeah. Oh, that was scary. I got too confident. I got overconfident.
yeah,
Oof, we almost ended our conversation before we got going. Tell me about what one of the tabs you have open before we lose.
yeah. So I have gone to the Wikipedia list of Billboard modern rock track number ones of the 1990s. But I'm gonna
Modern rock
scroll
number
past
ones.
the early '90s
Yeah,
because we're 1983 babies, and
yeah,
some of that stuff. I guess I'm going a little bit like post grunge here.
yeah, totally.
Just not like 1990 stuff. Like that's I don't know. We haven't really reached peak alternative rock yet. So I have scrolled down to 1995, at which point it basically shows me the
The CD
the
case
number
that was
one
in
song.
the CD case that was in your car on the way to
Yes,
school.
yes, just sleeves upon sleeves of discs. Um, yeah, where it is showing me the songs that reached number one on the alternative rock chart, Billboard. And if they were on number one for weeks and weeks and weeks, then there's just no new song until the next time someone takes over. So
Yeah,
on occasion, we have new champions each week, and then other times we go for 6 or 7 weeks straight with just a number one hit. Um, so I considering that I haven't planned this out very well, and the little part that I did, my laptop is
oh,
hopefully in my classroom.
yeah,
Um, I was maybe just going to read some of these songs. I might skip a few that I'm just have zero interest in, and
in,
they're
yeah,
just do not reach my level of impactment. Um, but I would say the first song of 1995,
yeah, let's go.
seemingly holding down the number one spot for 6 weeks, was uh, Green Day's "When I Come Around,"
Yeah,
which I would say is a fairly consequential mainstream alternative rock song of the mid '90s.
yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Um, Green Day, like I listened to this whole story about them coming up through East Bay Punk and and all the stuff that brought them there, and then they had a Broadway play.
Yeah,
So they've gone quite a distance since mid '90s. Um, and the fact that they kind of wandered so pop. I mean, obviously they're not playing like bubblegum pop, but they've wandered so pop. I guess all these modern rock bands were pop in order to be number one. But
yeah,
they kind of like they'll probably be one of the only few punk bands on this list
I would imagine so.
because it'll go into yeah, like you said, post grunge more often than punk. I love
Yeah,
this song.
yeah.
It's not
I'm,
close.
I
It's not even close to my favorite song on that album. It's probably number 7 or 8 on that album for me. But I love
I
the
guess
song.
just a
It's a great
side note,
album.
I do believe it was the first, or my amongst my first batch of CD purchases on my own
Dookie.
was Dookie. So
It's such a great album.
what a prescient 11-year-old I was.
Yeah, but if we're going for me saying things that everybody's gonna disagree with, and we're gonna scare off any audience we ever had,
Do it, do it.
um, I like Nimrod. I like Nimrod more than Dookie. I think
Sure.
it's a better album. I think it's awesome that there are like 18 songs. I think King for a Day is a quintessential or like early essential LGBT song. Um, I think that Nice Guys Finish Last is just an unbelievably, incredibly awesome way to start an album. The way that it just slams those drums for those first 4 seconds, I just think that that song deserves way more credit than it ever got. Nice Guys Finish Last, and I think that Redundant is a wonderful song, and
Mhm.
Scattered, and obviously I know Nimrod inside and out because when I was a kid or when I was in high school, and I had to hurry my ass up to get up and have breakfast, and then run a half mile to your house to get a ride to school. This the 3 disc Casio uh, CD player in my room would always turn on and play the first song on the first album that was in there, and it 9 times out of 10 was Nimrod, and that first 4 seconds of um, of Nice Guys Finish Last. And this story is that the other part of the story is that I would hear the CD player kick in, and it would start rotating and spinning, getting ready to play. And I would remember that, oh, last night I was listening to music very loud, and I really should run to the other side of this room. I have to jump out of bed and run over there and quickly turn off the the speakers before I like wake up everybody in the house. And that's a hell of a way to wake up.
Yeah.
I guess the slightly more hell of a way to wake up is to literally hear those first four drum beats of Nice Guys Finish Last, banging as hard as they can. Great way to start an album. So anyway, When I Come Around, what do you think of When I Come Around?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I have any like hot takes on the song itself, other than I do feel like apparently as like a 11 and a half year old, if I'm reading this chart correctly, like I just remember that song being a really big deal.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, music video being on a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have that much to say about it. Other than like, I thought that song was really, really cool when I was a young lad. So I think it's got a potential to stay on this list. I'm going to write some of these songs down as
okay. I think that one's not gonna make it. Not for me.
I think that's fair.
Because it's not even the best song on that album. I already talked about this, but
yeah.
Basket Case.
Although
Basket Case is more quintessential than When I Come Around.
I would agree. If I scroll back up, it was number one for 5 weeks in August and September of 1994.
94.
So, yeah, sorry, Basket Case. You just
didn't make the
very
cut.
few parameters here, but you're just didn't make the cut.
It's not late 90s because it's a 4. And
yes.
That's not late in the 10s. I have a degree in mathematics. So this is the thing I know, is that 4 is not late in the 10s. So yeah, okay, Basket Case is out. You're right. Dang.
All right.
Okay, that changes things pretty dramatically.
Yeah. Well,
you're clever.
That's what the parameters get you.
You got me on that one, 90s.
All right.
Technicality.
I'm gonna continue down the list here. I'm gonna skip over a few as well, but just for to recognize it, the song that eventually knocked Green Day off was Live's Lightning Crashes.
Oh, that's a good song. No, that song's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
I like it though. I did buy that album. No, I never bought that album. No, I bought the next album.
Did you have the next live album? I feel like we
I had both of the next one and the one after that. I think I might have had the next three live albums, but I never had the one with Lightning Crashes. I had the one with the dolphin on the cover, and I think the song is like When Dolphins Fly or something.
Yeah.
And then I had the one with that was Black, Secret Samadhi. And then I had the one with the blue wings on it, which is Heaven. I had Heaven on it. This reminds me.
Yes.
and I wanted to say this right off the bat when you brought it up, but I have recently been trying to remind everyone that I talk to that this era of music is oldies. Just so you know, we're talking about oldies now. And we are two guys in our late 30s, almost 40, having a conversation about oldies. And and like we would be doing this around a campfire if we could right now, and just think about your life when you were a teenager and who around you was the two old guys talking about oldies. Oh man, gosh, I sure did love Steely Dan, and
you can correct me as the maths major here, but I just did some quick maths, and I mean, us talking about these songs from 28 years ago would be the equivalent of us listening to Old Men. If it was 28 years ago in 1995, it'd be like the music of 1967.
Yeah, we'll just get I'm thinking about going to Woodstock next year.
Man,
holy moly! Okay, yeah, I mean the Beatles would be in mid awesome mode.
Well, maybe that's why this stuff's I don't know, cool again. It's like I feel like
that stuff was cool for us too.
Late 60s had a moment.
Yeah,
again.
I think you're right. I mean, I loved listening to people talk about oldies then too.
Yeah. Still a
Okay.
bit
Okay.
different.
What's next? Live.
Well,
I have way too
next
many
one is
live albums. Everybody heard that part too, so that's
yeah,
fine.
that is interesting that you're a man who owns
Never really liked them.
not just multiple, but at least three. It would seem.
I had three different live albums. Yeah,
Yeah,
I never
you
really liked them.
and the lead singer's mother. Um,
Yeah.
you remember that man's name? There,
I,
I'm sure I knew it at some point.
I have a feeling I knew it at some point,
Was
but
it Ed?
that one's
I feel
gone.
like it was Ed
Ed
something.
sounds right. Ed does sound right. That sounds very
Maybe
close.
now that I mentioned it, I'm going to look it up. His name was Ed Kowalczyk,
Ed Kowalczyk. That's great.
a
I'm glad you knew
rock
that.
band formed in York, Pennsylvania. That's only about an hour north of me. Fascinating.
It is
Um,
fascinating. Take
so
that live.
the next song, Travis, you're going.
Gonna love it.
This is a Travis.
It's gonna
This is a
be
Travis song.
Jumper.
Um, it is better than Ezra's
Oh,
good.
I love that song. I also don't love that album that much, but again, I love the second album more. At the Stars and yeah, At the Stars is my big Better Than Ezra song. I heard a Norm Macdonald joke yesterday,
Yes.
and it went Rolling Stone just recently announced its top 50 modern rock bands. At number one, Better Than Ezra. At two, Ezra. That went pretty well. I did a pretty good job telling that Norm Macdonald joke. So that's a great song. It's very memorable.
Yeah.
And Desperately Wanting is also on that album. Did that come out before Good or after?
Well, I'm gonna say that
Oh, is it going to be at the list
my
later? Have you checked? I doubt it. I doubt it would be at the
I don't
list.
think it reached number one. There's only so much
There's
this
an
world can
endless
handle.
supply of modern rock bands where I like their second biggest song more than their biggest song. There's an endless supply of them. I
Yeah.
think we could do this for hours, and I would constantly like their second biggest song more than their first song. So I had a
Travis,
weird, I had a weird
files.
like underdog complex.
Yeah.
What did you think of? Did you have this album?
I did not.
These
I
guys are from
always
New Orleans.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so. They did they did a version of like the LSU fight song or something. They did a recording of it. Did I lose you?
Uh I think I am back.
Okay, good.
That was weird. I
It's
didn't
an
really get
internet
indication
thing, maybe.
that I got lost until it just said that I had lost the connection and I was trying to reconnect.
Um, I was asking you whether you had this album and whether you liked this song. Yeah.
I always enjoyed Better Than Ezra, but it was like a band that I never bought an album of. I feel like I just kind of knew their hits. Probably didn't know probably much of their catalog that I have never enjoyed.
I could definitely see it slipping through the cracks. They had a something going on. They had this sort of, like Bayou type, this flavor, like a little bit of, yeah, southern flavor to their thing, to their modern rock pop. That was, that made them unique. That's sort of what Live didn't have. Was sort of just like,
Yeah.
just nothing special except for maybe that guy's voice, I guess. Um, yeah, I was a big fan. I think I saw them live at
I
the
have seen them
96.
live.
Yeah.
It was probably not their proudest moment. I think they were playing the Power Plant live venue in Baltimore to probably a crowd of like a few hundred drunks. But they put on a nice show.
I think I saw them at the 96.3 Holiday Hootenanny. And you know what's really crazy? I think it's very possible that they were on that show with Live.
Wow.
And Edwin McCain, um, and Cowboy Junkies or something. Is that right?
Reached peak 96.3 right
Yes,
there.
absolutely. I did not want to see the Cowboy Junkies, but the I loved the live and Ben and Ezra back to back. I went with Jesse Gomez.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah, Jesse.
and I think I tried to ask a girl out to go with me to it, but she said no.
Dang. You know, you didn't know what she
um,
was about.
so fuck you, better than Ezra. You're not a big enough draw.
Not a big enough draw. All right. In moving along, I'm just gonna skip over a few songs that I just decided that they're just not necessary to talk about.
Okay, good.
Um,
That's fine. You can skip them, but I want to guess one and make sure it's not one of them.
okay.
Uh, is it Len Steal My Sunshine?
No.
I don't.
Although
I want
I've
to
heard
talk about that one if it comes up.
we should talk about that when it comes up. I have I don't know. I feel like a unique hatred towards that song.
Same. That's what I want to
Um,
talk about. That's what I want to talk about. So
all right.
I
Well,
uniquely hate that song.
let's see if it comes up later.
Okay.
I'd like to just have it not come up because it wasn't
I
worthy
think
of
we got everything out that we needed to say.
prestigious number one, Billboard alternative rock chart, which I'm sure just was a completely objective and fair measurement of all songs. Oh,
I'm sure it
obviously.
was back in the 90s. So 100% fair. Every single thing about it.
Yes. I guess the next song I was going to give mention to was Alanis Morissette,
Oh man,
first
Jagged Little
on the
Pill.
scene in the summer of 1995, and You Ought to Know had seemingly 4 or 5 weeks at number one on the chart. Um,
Jagged Little Pill, good album, and
yeah,
Broadway show. I haven't seen it.
I recently saw the musical.
You saw it.
Yeah,
Tell me all about it.
it was I really enjoyed it. Not as much as my wife. She was
Oh, she loved
a
it.
big she was a big Alanis head back in the day, well before I
Oh,
met her. So she was really looking forward to it. It was in our season ticket package, and we went. I guess the I after reading nothing about the show, going into it, I just assumed that it would be a play about an angry teenager, and at one point a guy would come on stage in like a Red Wings jersey and be really mean to her. I think I recently been informed that I don't like maybe that wasn't actually a thing. um I
I
don't
mean,
know. I
that's what
shouldn't
that's the folklore is. I mean, not.
Yeah.
Oh, so somebody told you that that's not really the
Yeah,
case.
I don't know. I should really do my research before I hop
No, no
on
one, no one
the
asked you to
internet
know
here.
everything about Jagged Little Pill.
All right. Well, I
What?
don't know.
No,
Gave
everybody knows the
me
lore that if you don't know, that song is supposed to be about Uncle Joey
yeah,
from Full House, and that is a unconfirmed fact. So don't sue me.
yeah,
Um,
allegedly.
oh yeah, allegedly. It's just my
Maybe.
opinion.
Yes. um,
It's just my opinion. But that
right.
song is about.
Dave, we
Um,
love you
it's
if
my
you're not a
yeah. It's
monster. I don't know. Or in that case, we
but you know
don't
what?
love
He
you.
could be a kid. You know, when he was young, and people
Yeah.
make
Nah,
mistakes when they're young.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unless he definitely did some stuff, in which case we hate
Oh,
him.
100%. Like if he did,
Yeah.
if it was she was too young or something. Yeah.
Yes, yes. We do not support that.
In which case, people don't make those mistakes. Stop it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So yeah, I thought it was gonna be like that, and then this girl was gonna form a band, and they were gonna like rock
Yeah.
out,
Yeah. You
and
just.
that was
I
gonna be
would assume that
musical.
too. I would assume that too.
But instead there was a angsty teenage girl in it, but it was more about a family, and really the main character was like a upper middle class mom in suburban Connecticut who the family's kind of falling apart, and people are struggling with like everyday stresses, and she basically becomes like addicted to opioids,
Oh
um
Jesus.
while her family falls apart around her. I guess that's like the on the nose jagged little pill part,
Yeah.
and then at the end, through the power of song in the background, and the love of family members, everybody is a little bit broken, but they come back together and you know embrace their flaws and their beauty.
And do they? they all have their little stories, or is it mostly about her?
Oh no, there's definitely little stories. I feel like the 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 teenage daughter is figuring out like her identity and her sexual orientation, and I feel like the brother has a strange storyline with and I feel like he experiences, but I'm probably butchering some of this, but that his friend has part is basically does goes to a party and does some bad kind of rape culture type things,
Whoa.
and that causes a kerfuffle at the high school,
Mm-hmm.
um, and he has to uh, figure out who his friends
What
are.
his identity is.
I think the father is having like tough time at work, and might have some feel like there's some infidelity going on or
Oh my
some possible
goodness.
infidelity. It's his family's really going
Sounds like a
through it.
Broadway play.
Yeah. Um,
Have you ever seen or heard of Next to Normal?
uh,
It's
no.
also a Broadway musical, and it sounds strikingly similar with different themes because it's about 15 years old, I think.
Hmm.
So the themes differ, but the concept of each family member having their own strife and trying to deal with that, and then
Yeah.
it being put to music, feels familiar. Um, Good play and good
Yeah.
album. Uh,
Yeah. They also just include some Alanis songs that are
they
not from
just
Jagged Hill, despite the name of it. But I think that was a good call, and
wait. So which
it's
song is
really,
it? It's ironic, right? No, it's
that is definitely in there and is
okay.
on that album. I assume that's probably going to come up on this list
It's
soon.
got to, but it. Oh, we're
These
talking about
trends.
the first one. What's it called again?
You ought to know.
You ought to know. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, that one gets there's some rage in that
I
one when
love
it
that
comes up
part.
on
I love
Broadway.
that
Oh
part.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's
The
like when one of the songs where you first get that feeling of like, oh, you can really get emo. Like you can actually try to like convey your emotions in a song.
yeah,
And if you hadn't heard that before, then that can be a real eye opener. I don't know. Maybe I'm by myself on that. That Jagged Little Pill is a
no,
opener to the concept of like emo music, emotion in music. But I had been like when prior to this era of music, I had been really into like Motown and Michael Jackson, and that's pretty
mhm,
much it, right?
yeah,
And so I was like, if it's not Motown or Michael Jackson, and then like they were conveying like lovey-doveyness, I guess, in those songs, but not like anger and angst. Do you think teenagers now have anger and angst songs? I guess they must have emo if they want it.
yeah.
That must be
But
new
I think
emo.
but I think it's like, or I mean, at least a few years ago, I think if I like polled my students on this it would be like SoundCloud rappers who like take a bunch of like Xanax and stuff, and then just have like mumble rap.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's big.
that's kind of like the angsty thing.
That's big now.
I Yeah, or
Oh
I
wow.
don't know, has been. Yeah.